Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited that you're here today. Thank you for being here. And what an incredible day it's been. We already had an AMA today. And so I'm really fired up, and I bet you are too. So exciting things that are happening for sure. So welcome to the daily session. Welcome to the daily discussion and the dApp overview. And I am so glad and so thankful to be your host today. My name is Phyllis, PSC 100 on the dApp. And today we're going to cover how best to utilize the Better platform. And I also have a little surprise too that I'm going to actually do for you as well. This call will be interactive, so please make sure that you join in. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, love to hear what you're saying. You could definitely pop something in the chat box for me, and you can definitely go ahead and send a message, in the chat box. That'd be great, and I'll be surely to answer. And you can also it's interactive. So if you want to raise your hand, just kind of unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. So that's what I'm going to, kind of suggest. So whether you're a veteran here or you've been in the community for a long, long time, today I'm going to share with you how to best utilize the best research tool. Really, honestly, guys, the best research tool out there in the crypto space. This platform can help you find your next 2x, 3x, 10x, 20x and beyond. And of course, this is not financial advice at all, but I do have someone, a speaker today that I'm actually going to have share his success in a little bit. So if you are brand new and you don't know what Better is all about, guys, you can go to better.ai to learn what we're doing and why we're doing it and why we are absolutely the talk of the town. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up my screen here so we can get into the Better dApp. And let me just make sure that I have a really good full screen view. All right. Well, first of all, guys, welcome. Excited to be here today and excited that you're here today. And I'm going to actually, before I even start, what I want to share with you is I have someone on the call today who is actually a superstar. In fact, he was actually just recently, he was actually Scout of the Week. We just recognized him as being Scout of the Week. And I asked him if he can come on and just share a few words on like what he does that made him the Scout of the Week. I don't know about you, but I sure as heck want to know. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that Jay, if you can make sure that I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I'm going to ask if you can just tell the crew here a little bit about the success that you've had over the last, few months. And also tell them specifically what happened with the projects that you just had some amazing results on. So can you go ahead and fill them in?
Yeah, sure, Phyllis. So I believe to find a good project is to have a good community. I've learned a lot with Better, and you have to be in your own space and be active there. I don't think you can find a good project if you're not active and just a bit laid back. But a lot of people on the calendar just use Twitter. I'm not familiar with Twitter, and they find fabulous projects on there. But I'm more a Telegram guy, so I noticed that when I put in more hours in the Telegram space, I come across projects, and I mainly go for projects that have previous successes from the teams. So then it's a no-brainer for me because I just know a lot of people will come to those projects, and I also want them verified. So KYC and big callers on Telegram, they post them in the group chat and have AMAs. It's also very important for me to attend to those AMAs. So I'm sure that the team knows what they're talking about.
Awesome. That's exactly, you're exactly right there, my friend. And let me ask you this question. You had said that, you get to, some of the people out there that are actually launching projects so that you're pretty comfortable with that. How did you develop that, Jay? Did that develop overnight? Did you develop it over time? Tell everybody what you did to be able to have successes in that.
Um, at first, I was with you guys, of course, with Mike. He gave a lot of good tips. The first class Mike gave on how to rip FT and projects that look trustworthy. I think you just have to be in the space and talking to people and have a good community to work together. And once you're set in that, I think those projects will just flow into your life. That's what happened to me. And yeah, what I said, just be active in the community and you just hear a lot of stuff around in this BC space.
Well, thanks, Jay. Does anybody have any questions for Jay? He's here and maybe he can answer one for you. Brian, I see your hand up.
Well, my question was more along the lines of how to buy Vetter. I'm just kind of new to the crypto space, and I know that when I click on buy Vetter, it takes me to Pancake Swap, but I'm just having a little bit of a challenge with that. So it's
Okay, I can definitely help you with that. In fact, are you on Instagram? You're not on Instagram. Are you on Telegram?
yes.
Okay, maybe you could send me an inbox message and I'll be a private message and I'll be happy to walk you through it.
What is your name again? I'm sorry,
Phyllis,
Philip.
Phyllis, PSC 100X.
Thank you.
Okay, just send me a quick message and I'll get back to you and I'll definitely help you there. Any questions for Jay? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the dApp. And I do have other additional things I'm actually going to share with you as well. Oh, wait, I have a chat message here. Let's see. What do you mean by being active? Vetter is one-way tool. No. How do you communicate on Vetter? That's a question, Jay, for you. I can help you with that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. By me being active, I mean there are a lot of call groups in the Telegram space, and if you just follow those big names and be early with those calls, mainly pre-sales, you can do your own research on it. You can learn with Feather on how to vet a project and how determine the red flags. You can of course go to the dApp and just go along vetting projects that are already vetted, so you can read those red flags. So you can just learn a little bit to vet yourself. And it's not the only way I use Feather for um, vetting projects, but I also look at projects that are vetted because the projects I just put on to be Top Scout, they weren't on the calendar, of course. But those are not the only projects you can invest in. You can also just go on the dApp and just find good projects on there too. But for being a
Absolutely.
scout, yeah, for scouting a project, you just have to be in different call groups, I guess, and just have a community to talk to where
Yep.
you
And
can get.
also what's really awesome too, Jay, is that we have a calendar of thousands. I mean, really, we have a lot on our calendar. So you don't even need to go to those call groups. But that's his little secret, is that when he's doing a scouting, he'll go out and just try to find something. Okay. But here you can scout right here on projects that are already vetted. So looks like let's see, I'm not sure what your name is. It says Seeper Carmeli. You have a question?
Yeah, kefir, like with K.
Oh, Kafir, got you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First of all, you got amazing project. I just bought almost the last tier, level 3, I think. I think it's great project. I believe it will be rocket. That's for the starting. I'm already invested in more than 40 or 50 projects in the past year, and projects are divided between sales, different type of sales, private, public, pre-sales, and any type of sale have a different vesting plan. And I didn't found yet the formula to know how to invest and still maybe it's the Bitcoin or the crypto right now that it's a little bit bearish and it's affect all of us. But when you join on private or even on IDO and you get just 20% of your project, and you do your 5x or 4x or 2x, after that it going down like 17 or 80 or 90%. Most of them, not all of them. There's a couple of projects that are very good, but most of them are going down very fast, and you don't get all the ROI. So if you have any advice or how you find good project that give you the all ROI in fast period of time, that will be great.
Yes, actually, we're going to go into the dApp right now. So we'll be able to determine those projects by actually using the calendar. So let me go ahead and jump in there and I'm going to share with you basically, how I do it. So first of all, this is the actual calendar, guys. And as you can see, is filled with a lot of great things. I mean, you could just look, just look at this day here. It's got 5 projects here and another 35 here. It's got 42 projects here and another 5 projects here. It's absolutely amazing, the amount. Look at this one. On the 1st of March, it was over 79 projects. So there's a ton of projects you can actually look at. In my experience, what I'm going to show is I'm going to share with you how I kind of look through this here to make multiple 10x's, 16x. I made a 29x. There's been multiple times over the last, I don't know how many months. So I'm going to share with you how to do that. First of all, let's look over here, because this is going to give you a drop-down menu of all the networks that we actually have. So that means if you are someone who likes to actually invest in projects that are perhaps on a different network, meaning maybe you like to invest projects that are on Cardano, or maybe you like to look at projects on Ethereum or Phantom or Luna. You can absolutely do that here without a doubt. So it helps you filter through some of the things that you really aren't interested in. So if you're not interested in anything but Binance, you can actually click on that and it's only going to give you what the Binance, what's on the Binance network. Okay. If you want to leave it blank, it's going to give you all the networks here. So just so you know, it gives you a really good way for you to be able to filter out, what it is that you're looking for. Let's look at launchpads. Let me explain to you what that means a little bit though. What a launchpad is basically, it's like where a project actually is going to be launching from. So they're not going to be launching from Coinbase or something like that, or PoCoin. They're going to be launching from a launchpad. Now, let me explain to you what that means. There's BSC pad, there's a launchpad there, right? And we have Unicrypt. Now, Unicrypt they're 2 projects. They're actually 2 launchpads that you actually need to have tokens to. Some people don't like to have to purchase tokens to see the launchpad. So that's okay. If that's not you, don't worry about it. You don't have to do that. You can look at DXSale and PinkSale, okay? And you don't have to own any tokens to do that. So for instance, if you like things on PinkSale, you're just going to click here. And if you like things on DXSale, you're going to click here. And if you want to see all of them because you want to see what's out there, you can do that as well. A category, basically it means it's what type of token is it? Everybody's all walks of life, right? And so we all like different things. You might be someone who likes gaming. You might someone who just likes launchpads or meme tokens or NFTs or rewards token, where you're actually getting reflections or rewards based on the actual project. Or maybe you like utility projects like Vetter. Like right now you're looking at the Vetter calendar. We launched this token back in October, and we have a great use case, right? You hold the token, okay? And then what you do is, you have an opportunity to be able to utilize the platform. So let me go ahead and go to the next thing, which is an event type. And that's kind of what you were hitting on a little bit ago. There's all different types. There's private sales, pre-sales, fair launches, and IDOs, and it really depends what you like. So if you like getting into private sales, okay, you can do that. That's where you're going to get in at the very lowest price. However, that comes also with risk, and you actually need to know that. So you need to make sure that you're familiar, with that when you're actually getting involved in a private sale. So let me give you an example. Vetter, we have a core team that's incredible. We actually launched in October, have been very, very successful, still successful to this day. In fact, we had over 500 people, 500 new users come into the platform in the last couple of days. That's pretty impressive. Usually that doesn't happen. Typically, as you had said, Kafir, is you actually said that a lot of projects will dump, over a little period of time. And you're absolutely right. But that's not the case with what we have here in front of us. And that's a really good point. But here's the thing. How do you know to trust the people that you're actually going to be doing a private sale with? Well, one of the things that Jay said, Jermaine said, you need to actually kind of get your feelers out there and know who they are. So if you saw a project like Vetter that did exceptionally well, okay, 33x, okay, 33 times you could have made money, 33 more times your what you put in, you could have done that. Now think about that for a second. If they're going to launch another token like what we're talking about doing, okay, now we're talking about a VPAD, which that's not going to be the name of it, but that's going to be something similar where we're going to actually launch a launch pad. Do you feel comfortable now knowing that you've been in the pre-sale, and that the pre-sale or the private sale from going forward, you're going to feel pretty comfortable? I know I do, because I know who the developers are. I know their success record. And what happens, guys, over time, you start to know who they are, okay? And you'll start to either jot them down, or you can actually utilize the platform, which I'll show you how to do as well. Then there's pre-sales. Pre-sales are when you're actually getting involved in the very beginning. It's after a private sale. So the private sales first, and sometimes there's private sales, sometimes they're not. But if there's a private sale, then the next part is pre-sale. And that's when you actually jump in and you're going to, go into a pre-sale. Either it's going to be done on a launch pad, one of these launch pads, okay? And what you're going to do is sometimes they'll have whitelist, okay, where they'll make you do specific tasks in order for you to earn whitelist. Like maybe they want you to put their token emblem or their symbol, on your profile page. Maybe they want you to actually retweet things that they've tweeted, things along that line. If that's something for you, you can earn yourself, a pre-sale spot as well. And that means that once the pre-sale opens, you'll be one of the first people, to be able to actually get into that pre-sale. A fair launch means that, and we're saying quite a few of them already, a fair launch is when, somebody is going to launch, they can launch on pink sale. There's basically, there's no maximum. You can get as much as you want. I'm always concerned when I see that type of behavior, but everybody likes different things. A fair launch means it's technically not using really. It's really just going to launch. It's going to launch on PancakeSwap. It's going to launch on pink sale, and it's a fair launch. That means there's no private sale, there's no pre-sale, there's no wait list. It's basically, come and see if you can get on. And also there's IDOs, which I like, but I also want to tell you that IDOs too, you need to actually hold tokens for that. So if you're a person who doesn't want to have to keep on holding tokens for projects, that may not be for you, but there's plenty of other ones to take advantage of. Now, what are the rankings? Rankings are very important because the rankings actually tell you the success of each scout and each vetter out there. If you want to see only purple rated anything, okay, all you have to do is click on purple, and that's going to bring up for you every single purple transaction or every project that you can actually see was done by a purple vetter or purple scout. Now, guys, I can tell you right now, the purple vetters just a couple months ago, we had a 93% success rate. Okay, that's pretty impressive. So you can actually filter by that if you like. If you want to filter by green and purple, just click the green and it's going to give you all of it. If you want to do all the ranks, you can just keep it clicked all ranks, and all ranks will show up. Now, purple and green, purple means that they're stellar, green means that they're very good, beige means that they're almost to green, and red, I'd say you probably want to stay away from them for a little while because maybe their success record hasn't been that great. And yellow basically just means that you are brand new, and doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad. It just means that, you have a little bit of work to do and you're just learning. So jump on as many of these calls as possible. Oracle, this is the question that you had asked, Kafir. I hope I'm saying that right. This is one of the questions you asked. Like, maybe you want to look at projects that perhaps did well in a 24-hour period. That might be great for you. A 24-hour period. Maybe that's one that you want to have clicked. Or maybe you want to see projects that do well in a 7-day period. You want to know what scouts and what colors actually produced them in a 24-hour period. So this will bring up those scouts and vetters who've actually created some of those successes. You could do it in 7 days, you can do it in 30 days, and you can do it also in overall. So that's how you can actually determine. So for instance, if you have if you're you're just in a hurry because you don't have a whole lot of time and you want to see something that's going to launch, tomorrow, and you want to see something where the scout has a success record of projects that do well in a 24-hour period, that's the one that you're going to want to look at. Now, this filter here is one I really love because you can actually filter by all different things. Like for instance, if you were on the calendar maybe yesterday, so you looked through all of these already, but you want to see what was recently added. Okay, so maybe you want to go and look at those projects that were recently added. Okay, maybe you want to look at projects that were vetted only because you feel more comfortable. You can do that. Okay, you can do, if you want to actually get involved in whitelists, you can actually click on here and it's going to tell you all the projects that have whitelists that you perhaps can get a part of. So that's another great filter, for you to actually use. So I love this. I love the filters here, guys. It's actually been, I use them all the time. And I think, once you start to understand them, you will too. So let me just take these filters off, make sure I don't have them all on here because I might. And yeah, let me just take these off. Okay, so that's basically how you navigate, through the calendar itself. You can actually see this by month, by week, by day, or you can actually list it as well. Okay, pretty impressive. So let's do this, guys. Let's go look on the calendar and let's see what we can find today. And I'm trying to keeping close tabs on my time here because I want to actually share with you something else that I want to share with you today too, that I think could help you become better scouts as well. So let's take a look at this. Let's go to, today is what, the 22nd? Let's go to the 24th maybe. And why don't we go look at, actually, let's go to a different day. Let's go to tomorrow, because I don't know, we want to see what we can get into tomorrow. All right. So let's take a look at, go to Forever Safu. Okay. Now it could be Safu, but I think it's Safu. Any rate, so what do you do here? What is it that you're looking at, as an investor, because you want to take a look at this project? Well, first of all, guys, this was scouted and vetted by a Purple Scout. Okay, pretty impressive, right? And you want to also look at what they have said about this. So this scout basically is telling you that he updated this on the 22nd. Okay, it looks like they've already launched. I'm not quite sure why it's not launched here, but we'll figure that out. It has 700, because it's pre-sale. Pre-sale actually filled instantly of 750. So their hard cap actually got filled very, very quickly. So you can see here, it says no docs, no audit, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. He's just telling you that at the time that he did this, he didn't see any of that. So you can basically take a look at it. Now you can go down here, and this is where he vetted the project. And what he said was the Telegram group has been massive, lots of activity in the Telegram group. Okay, several AMAs. The team has done a very good job of creating hype and getting this token to a lot of exposure. At one point, they had 9,000 new members in a span of 4 days. The Telegram started on March 15th. Well, that's good, but we're going to take a look at that to make sure they're all solid, right? Now, it says here the team will KYC through what's called Interfi, as stated in their AMA notes. So there are some notes here. They have had an AMA, and this is the same team, he says, behind Meta Planet. And there are team members from that Axionomics projects based on the prior success of a team. So maybe when Jay Rosie was saying to you that he looks at teams that were successful, well, maybe that's something you want to jot down, Metaplanet, and go see, maybe before you've invested here, go see it, go look at the chart and see if it's something that is exciting for you. Go look, is it still around? Was it a pump and dump? You can take a look at that. And then he goes into the AMA notes, Ask Me Anything notes, that's what it means. And he goes into specifics on what he found, in the AMA. Now, guys, I love AMAs because, I like listening to them myself. And you might say, well, who has time to do that? Well, you might not, but you know what? In our Telegram group, there's over 18,000 people there. I bet you if you ask someone if they were on the AMA, okay, for this project, Forever Safu, I bet you're going to have people that are going to say, I was on it. And then you're going to have some crowdsourcing there, right? Where you're going to be able to get some you'll be able to get some information from the people that are actually were on the AMA if you can't get on it yourself. So again, this is all that information. I want to just stop for a second because there's a question here. It says, what's the difference between a scout to a vetter? Well, a scout is actually someone who goes out and looks for projects. They may go to Telegram, they may go to Twitter, they may go into different things like CoinMooner or different project different projects out there. Like I said, CoinMooner, there's quite a few of them that you can go look and see what projects are launching. You can do that. Now, a vetter, what they do is they come along and they take a look at the calendar and they start to vet projects. Okay, they'll vet projects so that you as an investor, know what the red flags are, what the issues are, so that you can make a decision based on, what information they're given. Is everybody always right? No, of course not. But I can tell you now, we have some top-notch purple vetters here, guys, that you want to follow. In fact, if you want to do this, here's what I like to do. If you go to, let's go right to here. Now, this is the tips and gains section, right? Well, I like this because this already tells me, who's been tipped. And that means these guys here, you know, were the scouts of those projects or the vetter of those projects, but I think it's a scout. So you can actually go find them right by their name. Okay, let's go look. Let's go back here for a second. And let's just do LDN. And that's going to show you every project that he has on the calendar for this month. So again, it filters out for you. You can filter this by the name of the vetter or the scout as well. Okay, if you wanted to see what I think it's JR, what he's done. Okay, this is everything he's done. So maybe you want to take a look at what he's doing. Okay, so again, just another way you can actually utilize this in many different ways. So what I want to do now is, first of all, get any questions answered that you might have in regards to the calendar itself. And then I want to share with you just some pointers on how to, in the scouting realm, how do you scout? So let's take a look at what we have here. Okay. Okay. Let's look at here. Is your experience? What's the best way to invest? Basically, I shared that with you. I usually go to Telegram. My most important piece is I go to their Telegram group, and I am very, 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 I go through their Telegram group with a fine-tooth comb. Okay. And what I do is I look at them, I dissect them, I join them. And then what I do is I decide whether or not they're good for me. So let me go to one that this one here looks like I have to jump through a hoop, and let's not do that because I don't want to waste time doing that. So let me just go back and get back here. Sorry, guys. Let me just get back to the dApp. Okay. My daughter was on this computer.
Yeah, Phyllis, I got a question for you real quick.
Sure.
So specifically with these fair launches, I've got a list of fair launches that I'm looking at,
Right.
and all of them seem like they can do well in the short term, meaning they all look like they can do well in 24 hours.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to figure out is I've seen, now this is less often, but I've seen fair launches go off and have like 3,000 members, 300 members online, raise 500 BNB, launch on Pancake Swap, and then in 3 minutes when you go and claim your tokens and go see, let me see if I made 30% already, or maybe 50% already. Let me see what I went and made, and you're down 40%, and it's just been 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
that happens.
So what I was going to say is, for you personally, like, how do you vet that out and see which projects like are going to actually continue to move up, or versus dump, or is it just a matter of straight up, you just got to take chances? It just is what it is.
Honestly, with fair launches, I'm once in a while I'll get into them, but I like to do background work on what I'm going to invest in. And I like utility. So I typically don't do very many fair launches. I mean, I think I've done maybe 2 in all the time that I've done crypto. I'm not a fan of them. I'm not saying that you can't do well, because you can, but it's a crapshoot, really. You don't know, you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't. And again, honestly, you don't know what's going to happen in anything. Okay. So, I can't really give you like any advice on, you never know if it's going to do something in 24 hours, if it's going to do something in 7 days. You really don't know. You have to just, again, you have to actually have a philosophy. And I said this before many times, you have to have a philosophy on what is your philosophy? Is it that, excuse me, I'm gonna get a glass of water. is your philosophy that you want to get in a project, watch it spike, and then rip FT and get out, or rip and get out? If that's your strategy in a fair launch, then you should stick to that strategy. I think that what happens with a lot of people is that we stray away from whatever strategy that works best for us. And one of the things I always say to people is, if your strategy is not working, then you might need to actually change your strategy. So my point to you is, you know, there's really no way of telling. You know, we don't have a crystal ball. Again, you might want to take a look at the hype in the Telegram, look at what's going on in the Telegram, and kind of get an indication there. But in all honesty, I really don't partake in, very, very seldom do I do them. I hope that's clear enough for you, but it's the truth for me.
Yeah, yeah, that works perfectly fine. Yeah, but my strategy works. I have about 16 projects. I've only lost money 4 times.
Awesome.
And the only times I've never lost money, literally, I have never ever lost money when I've had the opportunity to profit doing these pre-sales.
Oh, you know what? You're very, very, very lucky, my friend. Not a lot of people can actually say that. So you're very, very fortunate. Guys, just give me a second. I wanted to bring up a slide that I have here, and I thought I had it open. I'm gonna, okay.
Yeah, but the only time I've ever lost money is the same time when the trading club loses money. Like the last few times with Moon Force and that farm token, where like it comes out 1 minute, it just dumps, and the project looked good hype, everything, and it just didn't do well. And I've gotten honeypotted once, but anytime I ever lose money, it's because literally nobody else made money either.
Yeah, that happens a lot, and you have to, you know, you're very fortunate, because a lot of people don't do well in those types of projects. So you're fortunate that you actually do. So let me just give you 1 second, because I do want to grab something for you.
Okay.
I want to talk about this here. I actually did a little bit of some slide work, because I wanted to actually share with you just some things that I find it to be very, very important, especially as a, let me view this, especially as a new scout. So, you know, I want to just, these are some announcements, and I'll go over them in a minute. So what questions should I ask if I'm a scout? A lot of people ask me this question. They say to me, you know, if you're in a Telegram group and you're asking questions, what kind of questions are you asking? I don't know what to ask. So you might say, well, I'm a scout, so I just go out and put projects on the calendar. You can do that, but if your projects fail, right, then you're going to get downvoted on that project. So why not take an extra second or two to actually ask a couple questions? So here's what I do when I'm in the Telegram group. And this is an effective Telegram approach for a scout. Actually, it's good for a vetter as well, because let me share with you how. Basically, you get on a Telegram group and you're just going to say, hey there, I found your project through vetter.ai, crypto research tool dApp. I'd like to ask a few questions if there's an admin or dev that I can speak to, or can I chat with? Guys, that there is going to get you recognized. First of all, because of vetter.ai, it's going to get you recognized because we are very recognized in the space now, okay? As well as you're asking them if you can actually ask them a few questions. So you're not just going in there and just blasting questions, but you're being you're being cordial, you're being professional. Remember, because you are also, if you're in Vetter, you're also representing Vetter. So you want to do things in a really good way. So I do this all the time, and I develop huge relationships with people. In fact, when I get to a Telegram group, you know what they actually say in there? Oh, looks like we got a Vetter in the house. because they know who I am, and they know that I'm going to be respectful. So here are some things that I do as a scout that might help you. First of all, I always go look at their website. I verify it. I verify their Telegram group. And if you bring up, if you're on the dApp and you're actually getting ready to add a project, okay, you'll see that the information that I'm actually putting here is basically information that you're going to need to be able to put it on the dApp. Okay. One of the things I ask all the time, and this could be something here, guys, that what are 3 standard features that the team would like to share? Now, this could be something that you put in your comment section. Not that you're commenting about it. You might say, spoke to the core team, and I asked them this question, and this is what they said. Now, if they can't give you, what their 3 standout features are, then perhaps it's not, maybe it's a project that you, may not be interested in. The other thing is, and you need this also for the dApp, is what's the hard cap and the soft cap? That matters. So you want to make sure you get that question answered. What's the minimum and the maximum that I can actually spend? So if someone says to you, there is no maximum, I'm going to tell you that's a little bit of a red flag for me, because that means that people can come in and bring in tons, they come in by 100 B&B and they're going to dump all that, and you're the one that's going to get dumped on. Okay. And typically when there's no maximum, in some of these premeditated type of scam projects, it's very scary. So I don't ever participate unless there is a minimum or maximum, unless it's some kind of it's something that I'm not actually, like a private sale. And even then there has to be a maximum. When's the launch date? That's important, because as a scout, what happens is that launch date is probably going to change. Okay. It changes all the time. So if you put in a launch date, and you should put a launch date in, ask that question. When are you going to launch? Get an answer. If you can't get an answer, then you need to make sure that you're going back to your scout post and you're putting that in there, so that you can go back later and kind of find out, when that launch date is. Somebody said to me today, I did really well on a project. I had a 19X. I saw on Telegram, and they were looking for people to go vote for them, and I was going to go do it. But the one thing that he missed was he didn't put the launch date in. And therefore, because the launch date wasn't there, it wasn't initiating the launch button to be able to launch the project. And therefore, I couldn't go in and vote for him. So a lesson to be learned, if you have a project that you've actually put on the dApp, don't just set it and leave. Okay, know when that project's launching. And so you can actually go back and visit and revisit that Telegram group, because, you want to make sure as a scout, right? And as a vetter, of course, you want to make sure that, you're able to, watch that project, as much as you can, because you want your project that you posted to be successful, right? Because then you're going to have a really incredible following, and then those votes are going to help upgrade you from yellow to green to beige to green to purple. Now, is there a pre-sale date? You always want to put that down. You can ask the question, and where are they launching from? Guys, these are basically the questions that you ask. Okay, because you're going to actually, or you can find them, but here's what I like to do. I like to ask the question. Anybody know why? Anybody know why I like to ask questions? If you're muted, go ahead and just unmute yourself. Anybody have their hand up? All right. Let's see.
Confidence on the project.
What was that?
It's make you be confident on the project.
Exactly.
You have a great team that you can communicate, and it's maybe can be a great thing.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. Because you want to make sure that if someone's not responding to your questions, that's kind of a little bit of a red flag, right? So you want to make sure that that happens. So that's an important factor. So here's the thing. these are some red flags that I usually look at, and there's a lot more, guys, than just this. But the call is, only, an hour. So I don't want to, I do want to make sure that, and I'll bring more information back. I'll do another call and I'll do some more expansion, on the Scout. I'm going to do a call about the vetter and what I look for in that respect as well, kind of do a deeper dive so you guys can see. And if there's any topics that you want to hear about, things that you like to see, please throw it in the message in the chat box here, because we love to know so we can actually help you hone in on those skills. Okay. Because that's what we want to do. So what are some red flags? What are red flags? What do I see? How do I see them? And again, we talked about this before. We go to the Telegram group, right? And we look to see if the group looks botted. Now, what does that mean? Okay, and I can share that with you. It means that the Telegram group looks clean. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a bunch of memes and all kinds of pictures and nudity and foul language and and just things like that, where you can tell that it looks like they may have just brought people in, not even people, but just brought in bots to fill up their Telegram. That happens a lot, guys. But you can actually tell that because you're looking for real communication. Does the community look like it's coming from a real person? Or does it look like it's just made up? I can tell you now, I asked a question last night. I did a scouting project called Aero. And I made sure that I went back and put into my Scout that I asked a question or two or three, and then I never got an answer. And then when I did get an answer, okay, the answer was nowhere near close to what I asked, okay, because that was a botted response. Are the community questions being answered? Not just yours, but in the community. Scroll up, take a look around, spend some time there. Again, the Telegram looking clean and cared for, by the team. That's a really important factor, guys. And the reason why it's so important is because it tells you that the core team cares about their community. If you're looking at a project that's got all kinds of spam and it's terrible, and you don't even know which link to click on because you're afraid you're going to get spammed, that looks like a not cleaned, that's not a cared for a Telegram group. And that might be one that you might want to stray away from. So the other thing is, again, I think I already said this. So is there a maximum or is there a minimum? And that's, you want to make sure that there is a maximum. You want to make sure that there's a maximum, and you want to make sure that there's a minimum, because actually not having a minimum is not really a red flag. Usually they're 0.1, but definitely a maximum. And then the other thing is, do you see any negative comments from the community? That's a big one, guys, because you know what? You can scroll back a day and maybe you're not seeing any negative comments, but you might want to scroll back a day or two and maybe you start to see them. So you really need to be really astute, and you want to make sure that when you're posting something that you're gonna want people to actually invest in, right? And that's kind of the name of the game. So let me ask you the questions. let me ask me the questions. What kind of questions do you have? I know I went over a lot of information here today. So if there's any questions that you have, I'll be happy to answer them. So any questions, guys? Brian, I see your hand up.
Oh, well, it was up from before, but
Okay.
the questions I have, I'll just ask you offline because they're all just so incredibly silly and basic that.
Well, that's okay. We like silly, basic questions, Brian, because there's a lot of new users. Like I said, over 500 people in the last couple of days, using the dApp, so it's okay.
Here is what's most challenging for me to wrap my head around on this Vetter site. Is as exciting as it looks and sounds to me. It's a lot of technical jargon to me, so I don't know what these projects entail from an understanding point, from a technical understanding point, because I mean, what are you doing, and when you're involving yourself in these projects, and what does it have to do with buying cryptocurrency? I mean, my idea of being in the cryptocurrency world, or involved in a cryptocurrency community is almost sort of like what a Wall Street day trader investor guy does, is invests and then watches money grow, and then cashes out, and then voila, he's made profit. So what do these projects entail, and what are they, how are they related to gaining a profit? I mean, I know that there's tokens. I don't really understand what tokens are. So it's kind of, I'm going down that rabbit hole because I just don't understand all the technical jargon.
Well, I understand that, and it is different. These are actually pre-sales. Okay.
No, I understand that too. I understand a little bit of that idea too, that you're getting in before the crypto, but pre-sale of what? Is it pre-sale of cryptocurrencies that aren't out yet, so that when you buy them, they're worth a little bit of, I mean, when you buy them at a low price, and then
Yeah, you buy
the whole
low,
point-
sell
the whole-
high.
the whole point of these projects is to buy them low and then sell them, and then
Right.
that's when you're making your profit. Okay.
Absolutely. And there are other projects out there like VPAD that we're going to be launching out soon. Okay. In order to be able to use VPAD, you need to have Vetter. So there are some projects that have a utility like this one, so that the one I'm talking about, Vetter and VPAD. So some of those types of projects you might want to hold on to. It really depends upon the project. And again, it depends upon, your strategy, what it is that what do you want to get out of it? I like getting into pre-sales and, watching it go up and taking my money and just leave it. Here, think about this for a second. If I get into a pre-sale, right? And let's just pick one. You go into here, and I'm just going to go into, I don't know, Luna. Okay, so I get into this pre-sale and what happens is, say it was 0.003 or 0.004 or whatever, and I bought X amount of dollars. Okay, and they gave me, I don't know, say like a half a B&B gave me, I don't know, maybe like 600,000 tokens. Okay, well, you can actually watch the chart. Okay, you can, when it starts to spike up, you can take out what you put in. You can take out a profit, and you determine what that profit is, what you were going to do. Am I going to, do I want to double my money? Do I want to triple my money? So you decide that, and then you can take out that, and your strategy is to leave the rest of those tokens there. You'll say, well, why would I do that? Well, if it's a project that every project has the possibility, okay, it's not probable, but it has the possibility to be able to be successful, right? Here's an example. I put money in a project not long ago, and I liked the project, so I kind of put in what I wanted, took out what I invested, and I took out, I actually like maybe 4 or 5x on that. But I left quite a bit in because I really liked the project. So lo and behold, I keep track of what I'm actually, what I'm involved in. And you could do that by clicking this little heart. Okay. And then when you go to your profile, you're going to be able to see, what's on your list, things that you're watching. Okay. So what happens is I happen to go back to that project, and I'm like, holy smokes, this thing is mooning. And so I went back, and I was able to pull out another B&B and still keep the tokens in that I had, so that happens too. So that's actually called RIP FT, recoup your investment, and then you're pretty much taking a profit, and then you're actually leaving the rest in.
Okay,
so really,
good.
really
In-
depends on your strategy.
Can you just tell me really quick what BNB is and what tokens are?
Well, token is
I mean,
is
I
a,
know they're specific to this project, but
yeah, a token pretty much doesn't have its own exchange. Like BNB has its own exchange. Um,
so BNB is a cryptocurrency, but token is not.
Token it is a cryptocurrency. However, it doesn't have its own exchange. It's not it's an exchange off an exchange. So
Okay.
all these are tokens, considered tokens. BNB is considered, a coin. That's pretty much the difference. Okay.
I have an analogy for that. Sorry that I interrupt you, but maybe it make it a little bit clear for you.
I'm sorry.
You can equivalent it to the stock markets. Okay, there is coins like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like BNB. It's like a country. Each of them is different country,
Uh-huh.
and each country have its own a stock exchange network of its own, and in this exchange you have a lot of stocks, and each stock is token, and each token is stocks of specific company, and when you hold tokens, you like hold shares on the company.
So tokens are like shares and BNB
Yeah,
is like an exchange. Okay.
yeah, that's right.
What is a Vetter token then? Or what, when you're buying Vetter, are you doing the same thing? You're buying a token of the Vetter platform?
You're buying a token so that the use case is being able to use the calendar. That's the use case of it.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, guys, it's been a great call. Thank you so much. If you liked what you heard today, definitely let me know that in the chat box, so I can actually, if I can help you in any way. So definitely, give me a thumbs up if you liked the call. If you didn't like the call, let me know that too. And also, it's important for you to let me know what you'd like to see us actually expand on. So before we actually close out, I just want to make sure, that, there's so much information, guys. And what we're going to do is I like to start breaking it down for you in bite-sized pieces, especially for those who are absolutely brand new. Okay. And not just brand new people as well. Maybe we'll have a call for someone who is not so brand new, and we'll be able to do some, more upgraded things in those calls. So that's kind of, what I like to do in the future. So if there's anything that you like us to be able to explore more in, definitely let us know, whether it's in Discord, whether it's in the actual the Telegram boxes. Definitely let us know, send us an inbox, and we'll actually make that happen. So, all right, guys, have a great day and a better tomorrow. It's always my hope and prayer that you're going to be extremely successful. And if you continue with Vetter, I know you will. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.